Yeah, what were we talking about? Rhodesia. I asked if you think there'll be another Rhodesia. And the world essentially won't allow it.
Yeah, exactly. Any country that, and that's what it was all about, South Africa and Rhodesia, was that they were not accepting the idea of universal democracy, the idea of one high IQ group running things.
Right, yeah.
It's like, I think the only reason those countries failed was because they were just ostracized by the entire world.
But what would the advantage of the states?
The advantage
be to sanction that?
Well, it's just the fact that
years ago.
It wouldn't be any advantage, only the fact that, well, I suppose that it's a alternative to sort of liberal
control.
Yeah, well, the idea of equalitarianism, that everyone's equal. If you have societies where one group is clearly running things, that kind of shows.
Doesn't work in practice.
Yeah, it's an ideology in the West, isn't it? They have to. You can't allow a competing society to do something different. You have to say
and succeed.
Yeah, and succeed, exactly. It was the same with the way they take out Gaddafi and whoever. They just want everyone to be their system.
Right. Yeah.
And especially societies like that could clearly be very successful, an alternative model. So that's what worries me about, like, you see in Irania now, although I think they may actually be okay because the South African government's so dysfunctional that any attempt to try and, if you stayed in Canada or the US and you try and create your own little community, if you become successful, you will become a target.
Out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, because they can't allow it. And even if they harm themselves, because I worry about like the Mormons and the Amish, that Mennonite. Yeah, well, like in the US, that they're not getting vaccinated. They're eating and living very healthily.
Might not have bank accounts, so they're not.
Yeah, at some point.
Totally connected.
If they create this like digital control grid, I mean, maybe they will just continue to tolerate them, but at some point they might say, "We don't like this."
Yeah, but at the same time, how many people do we know would move towards to be a Mennonite?
No, not many.
I mean, I wouldn't. Mm-hmm. It's not convenient at all. It's a difficult old life.
Yeah.
Right. So you wouldn't want to make that change. Mm-hmm. But do you think there's a location where, assuming it was permitted because it were so small and therefore it couldn't be so successful to get recognition? Because, I mean, places like Liechtenstein and Monaco are very successful, but they're microstates.
Yeah.
So, and there's a king, and he's just allowed to do whatever.
Yeah.
So, do you think there's a place in the world where you could set up your own viable parallel structure? Because if you look at Paraguay, I mean, Paraguay doesn't really have any rule of law. Mm-hmm. So I think the downside of that is it will attract all the worst characters. Mm-hmm. Like narcissists and people with the aptitude for criminality.
Yeah.
To do what that group is already doing and creating their own little taxation network sort of thing. But do you think there's an area where that could be viable, where you could be left alone?
You probably need some kind of island.
Yeah.
A private island.
You could buy an island, I guess.
But again, I think it'd be the same situation as Rhodesia and South Africa. If you, let's say you created a libertarian country with no taxation, voluntary association, free expression, all these things, and it started drawing in a lot of people, these countries that are tax farms, if it became famous and known and people started to notice, you're going to upset them because they can't. Their system works on the idea that people think that there's no alternative.
Right.
If they
that they can't escape, they can't.
Yeah,
There's no better place.
Anything that shows actually the Western high tax, high migration model.
Buy your insurance, do your 9 to 5.
Yeah. Especially if you start taking people away, and I wonder about this in general. The more we see people leaving Western countries, the more tax revenue they start to lose. That's when they're going to get more hostile, capital controls and things like that.
They'll clamp down. I mean, they're already doing it now. It's really difficult to get a bank account if you go offshore now. They don't want to play with you. If you have an account or a company in BVI's or Seychelles, one of those. I mean,
this is why as long as nothing fundamentally changes about crypto, this is what the real case for it is, because you can't, at the moment you can't, it is personal money, personal digital money that's encrypted. It's just, they can't stop it.
Yeah, they could stop the mining, I suppose.
But they would need to stop it in the whole world, which is, how do you, you could shut it down in one country, but the miners could just move somewhere else.
Yes, I suppose. But then the onboarding of getting the coins, you could police it from that point of view.
Yeah. But once people,
it's a real question because, well, I mean, from our perspective,
people need to. The thing is, getting the money is on board is the issue, but people need to stop offboarding. Is that the right term? People need to. Businesses and things need to start moving to crypto, so we don't. Once it's
to keep
moving,
that economy flowing. Yeah.
Then it's not a case of moving backwards and forwards, but getting into it.
What was I going to say? Going back to building your own parallel system. Have you ever read the book, I'm reading it now, Democracy, the God That Failed?
No.
It's a book by, I always mix up the order of his name, Hans Hermann Hoppe, or Hans Hoppe Hermann, I just forget. But essentially, he argues that monarchies, if you just look at them, are not the ideal system, but they're a far superior system than democracy. And he goes back to before World War One, and essentially World War One was a war against monarchies and the royal families, right? Yeah. To usher in democratic rule, to democratic republicanism, as he writes, or whatever. But do you think if you were to build your own parallel system, you need a leader? Because people naturally gravitate towards an authority figure. And if we say that the state is a bunch of bad guys, as he says, do you think it's a better trade-off to have, let's say, one supreme bad guy to give the thing some structure, rather than have no bad guys, but there is no real structure? It's just kind of a bunch of people doing their own thing, and that you can't really take it seriously as a country. So maybe all these people that are, because there's many people trying to create their own libertarian societies. There's a German fellow in Venezuela, in Margarita Island, and he's trying to create this Bitcoin sort of place. But that would kind of jive, because in those monarchical societies, you would have the leader. It wouldn't just be filled with people who want to do their own thing. You would have worker types, and you need worker types to collect the garbage and so forth, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And yet it still would maximize personal freedom, private property, and responsibility. And, the best places in terms of that, if you just look at it, in terms of individuality and private property rights, in Europe are those places that are like that. Monaco, Liechtenstein, Sark, the bailiwick of Guernsey, bailiwick of Jersey. Isle of Man is changing, but those places, up until recently, all of the Gulf, which is an absolute monarchy, had no taxation. So from that point of view,
I guess the question would be like, who gets to be the monarch?
Who
gives them that authority?
Exactly.
Like if I say I'm the king, like he's going to take me seriously. You've got no historical basis for this. I suppose that's the.
But do you think? And
it might happen naturally, but I just want with that. As always, whoever does it, there'll be the people who set the thing up that kind of.
But if it were
have more of a say over what goes on.
But if it were confined, I know in Liechtenstein, I think there's little municipalities there. It's a tiny, tiny country.
Mm-hmm.
But anyone can create a referendum for their little village or whatever to leave Liechtenstein.
Awesome. Yeah.
You don't need any sort of, you don't need a bunch of private
Has it ever
property.
actually happened though?
No, it never happens. And no one has brought that to the table. But it's legally possible to do that.
Yeah.
So I guess you'd have to have, I think it would come down to land, private property, or gold, or you would need someone with a huge amount of ownership as the leader. And it would be in their best interest to retain that ownership and just hand it down to their own generation and leave you alone.
Yeah. I suppose so.
So I guess what I'm getting at is, are libertarians looking for an escape, thinking about it in the wrong way, where they should be looking for leaders rather than looking for locations where it's like, you don't pay capital gains tax or something, but you're living amongst a bunch of people kind of just going their own way, which is like any city now. It's just kind of...
Yeah, I suppose you could also see some religion feeling that has to, if you have everybody in the same religion, then it kind of binds together a set of values. Can you do that with a political idea like libertarianism? It's or maybe what you need is almost like a constitution. I sometimes think it's like if you're going to create something you could almost have 10 points that are fundamental. One, for example, taxation. Any form of taxation must be voluntary. There should be no involuntary confiscation of property or confiscation of wealth. And almost, I kind of daydreamed about these things, and it's if you got a group of people together and you said, okay, anyone can join this community, but these are the fundamental things we believe, and to be part of this community you have to basically say, I agree with this, and if anyone starts trying to do things that goes against it, you can then say, this is not...
You could remove them,
But then again, maybe you have to have someone in charge to do that.
Yeah, because you need some enforcement, and you wouldn't need a whole bureaucracy to do that. But I guess historically people are linked by ethnic and religious lines. That was the number one thing that culture, language, cuisine.
Yeah. It's just, I think humans is you can know, I think once some thing where it gets beyond 100 individuals, it gets too hard to know everyone. So therefore, once you get to a group beyond that, the only way to keep it together is through ethnicity, religion, or culture.
Yeah, what's the
whatever.
term for that? It's like 150 people.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And you can't share.
Mm-hmm.
Sharing
Before that, you
doesn't
can
work.
kind of know each other on a personal level. So but after that,
But you can kind of that or less. You can kind of barter and work things out. But when
it just becomes impractical.
you just become another number, a statistic.
Yeah.
out there. So you need something else.
Yeah.
Anyway, just a thought that maybe people are thinking about it. That maybe we should be looking for leaders.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this too. Who could you call a leader?
Someone like Doug Casey's obviously like a kind of thought leader, isn't he? He wouldn't. He wouldn't actually.
He's not wearing a military outfit.
But also, he wouldn't
with
want
a
to be
staff.
like,
I know,
put into that position. But
that's true.
He's someone who's, a thought leader, I suppose, is the way of.
But that's perfect because he has no interest in ruling people's lives, presumably, right? So you want that guy as your leader, where maybe he's gonna kind of cook the books and write the constitution that fit his own holding of cattle or whatever. But still, he's not going to be into regulating what you watch on television, who you interact with, how you pay, like your lives. So you kind of want a guy like that who's hands off.
As soon as you say like regulating what you watch is one of the things libertarianism might fall down in. I've thought about this. It's like if you have kids, do you really want to be like totally open about, look at whatever you want on the internet and Netflix, and it's almost like, I don't know, you kind of, in some ways, do you want that total freedom?
Right.
Or do you actually want to say, nah, look, you don't look at this degenerate stuff, we don't do it. And this is why I sort of think, if I had children here, maybe you'd probably send them to like a religious school to try and get them. Because otherwise they're going to get dragged into the TikTok, the social media, and all this degenerate stuff. So
do you think there's an amount of information? Let's say you were a king of this. Do you think there's an amount of information that people should not know? It would actually come back to bite you if people knew the truth of X, Y, Z.
I think when I think it's in Paraguay when you see these like the builders and they're working all day for like 100 mil or whatever. It's I think like sometimes I think they don't understand that money is like a social construct and basically it's just a way of tricking people into doing things for free. Like they don't understand. There's some builder or some security guard working for like 5 years ago he could have just bought some Bitcoin, taken out a loan, and then he wouldn't have to. But like he doesn't have that knowledge like we do. And just the fact that you need some people to be like the workers.
Without
those
knowledge.
people need to, kind of not understand. This is how. Our current countries work. They rely on the fact that like the NPC people never look into things, and they also use the propaganda.
Would it be better if they did?
Possibly. Would it be better if everybody? You think?
Like okay, just assume.
Yeah, but it's
money,
what they're trying to do.
Right. If everyone had the assumption that I need gold.
Yeah, exactly. If you were hiring a cleaner or something, and they were like, "Can you pay me in gold?" I would be like, "Oh, I feel respect to you." But but if you offered it to them, I could try with my cleaner or Bitcoin. Well, I have tried with crypto and stuff. I have tried it.
I tried.
I tried
as
with
well.
This helper guy.
It doesn't hurt to ask.
I asked him in crypto. Okay, I'd happily, but they always say no because they don't understand. They're saying if someone offered to pay me in gold or crypto, I would say absolutely. Would it be beneficial? Well, yeah, maybe it would.
But at the
But
same
so if would make the price go up, then would they sort of think, well, if they start to understand these things, they might think, well, I should just invest. Why should I bother working really hard?
and then nothing gets done, perhaps.
Yeah.
There's no one to work at the companies that you're invested in.
But there's all fiat money, government money. It's just a complete scam. But I think it's been, and it's the same with taxation and inflation. It's just, it's a way. It's kind of mad how you can go out for dinner and just hand someone a few pieces of paper.
And someone
Like it's no more value than a couple of ripped sheets off there.
Right.
And yet someone's worked or.
Well, that goes back to what you were
It's sort
saying.
of
Like
it's actually bizarre when you think of it in the abstract.
that goes back to what you were saying about how they don't accept $100 bills here if there's the slightest imperfection to the bill. Like what? So now it's not worth
nothing.
It's worth nothing.
Yeah.
It's
That was
really
me.
worth.
I had it thinking.
Yeah.
But kind of yeah.
It reminds you of that. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this can be worth nothing at any moment.
Well, I've got a one Guarani coin from 1988 in my flat. But after the military coup, when this guy Rodriguez, this general, took over, he started hyperinflating the Guarani. And the Stroessner was very stable. And 100,000 Guaranis in the 80s here, you only buy a house or something. And now you can't buy it. You can go out for dinner.
Yeah.
So imagine
That's a sandwich. Yeah.
Imagine the people that had money in the bank.
Yeah.
And it happened pretty quickly, apparently.
Yeah. Well, same with Argentina and
Yeah,
Venezuela.
yeah, it's the same thing.
But not so much about money. Do you think have you ever seen the film? It's a documentary, and there's lots that they don't really go into or question. But it's called The New Pearl Harbor. It's about 9/11.
No.
It's mostly just physicists asking questions.
Yeah,
how
could,
they're going at this speed.
Sympathy.
Yeah. They're going at this speed at this time.
Mm-hmm.
It took them this long to respond. Like they're just literally just asking question after question. It's 5 hours. It's on YouTube for free.
Interesting.
But most of Americans, I think, really believe the story that is official from the state. So not so much with money, but if you realize that the wool was pulled over your eyes with something like that, like you invaded another country, many countries, over this, and who's pulling the strings? Who benefited? There's a lot of people that know someone who have lost family in that war. So
I think a lot of people don't want to know. I think there's
but that gets back to my question. So no, not everyone should have complete information. It's actually beneficial.
No, I mean, it gives us an advantage. It's like certainly with investing in things like the conventional logic on Bitcoin was for criminals. They said gold is just a pet rock thing, 5% of your portfolio.
Right. Yeah.
It's like knowing things that the crowd doesn't know gives you an advantage in many respects.
Do you think that
or taking the COVID vaccine?
Right, if you knew otherwise.
Yeah.
So do you think that? I mean, I'm not.
But if everybody had the knowledge, I still kind of think maybe it would be better. Less stupid shit would happen. But
that's true.
Yeah.
Do you think
But if you're trying to control people, it's absolutely better not that they don't have it. It's knowledge is power, isn't it? That's the old expression. It's absolutely better that you know things that other people don't. It's got an advantage over them.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that that's the currency of wealthy individuals?
Yeah, I mean, like going back to saying these guys working for like 100 mil a day. Like if they took that money and bought gold, bought crypto and things instead they don't. They just spend it.
So
what little they might save, they'll just keep it in fiat currency. it's that keeps them in that cycle of poverty. It keeps them going to work and keeps them. Whereas if they were able to invest and kind of climb out of that, then you wouldn't have cheap labour. I see that with all this stuff where you can buy things on quotas here. You know, like they have these adverts for like cars, and it's like $230 a month. It's insane the things you can buy on quotas here. There's a shop I saw football shirts.
Yeah.
Football shirts, right? It said buy in like 12-month quotas.
How much was it?
I can't remember, but it was like, I don't know what it was, like 50 mil a month or something in quotas, or maybe more.
Oh my god. Have you seen that Klarna partnered with DoorDash?
What's that?
Klarna? It's like a credit card payment app where it divides up your payment. Mm-hmm. They partnered with DoorDash. Right. So now people are joking that, oh, the recession is here because we can pay a burrito. We can finance a burrito. Yeah. So you can buy like a $6 burrito in 3 installments.
Why would you buy it's not like with a car, you might argue you need it for your job or something. Yeah. But you don't need a football shirt. It's like I really want to, and if you can't afford to buy it in one payment, you shouldn't be buying it.
Yeah, I know.
Just save up the funds.
I know.
It's like,
but it's difficult to do, right?
Yeah.
What did you think of the Canadian election?
I paid no attention to it, so maybe we should ask a question to you. And I know very little apart from it was Mark Carney, and
he's not popular in Britain, though.
But I did see. All I saw was that he had like 80% of the votes or something insane.
No, it wasn't that high.
No? Yeah. So I can't really talk too much about it.
Some people thought it may have been fixed.
Yeah, seems odd that anyone would really like the guy. But.
See, I predicted he would win because I think your average Canadian thinks in a very collectivistic manner. And I think that he really, I mean, they all did, but he really played the anti-Trump. Trump is the bad guy.
Yeah.
They had this elbows up saying, I don't know what it was, but it was essentially saying, if you vote me in, I'll show Trump. Mm-hmm. And Canadians got really tight and nationalistic about that effort, so they really voted for him. And everyone hated Trudeau, even the people who are otherwise a lefty hated Trudeau. Yeah. But this guy came out of left field. Right. And they just viewed him as, well, he's this banker guy, he's quite successful. So they didn't really dislike him. They didn't have the hate for him. And the alternative was only a conservative in name. It was the same thing with the Tories in the UK. Right? Yeah. It was a sort of like, well, they're no different, right? Like, the UK is still shit if we put... What was his name? Sunni? Sunak? Yeah, if we put him back in. So I wasn't really surprised that he would have won. And he's so connected anyway. I mean, he's a globalist. Yeah. And if you're a former head of a bank, I mean, you know people.
Yeah.
So...
Put the banker into power.
Yeah. But, I wasn't really shocked. It's just they're going to accelerate the descent of the country. It's now kind of trending on Twitter that your option was Indian red, Indian blue, or Indian orange, where they'll have cities where the people running were literally born in India. Yeah. And you could have went liberal, conservative, or socialist, but they're all Indian.
Yeah. I mean, Canada is the Canadian population is completely gone. It's going to be it's gone crazy. Someone did a study too, and they said that the number one reason for voting for who they voted for was the issue dealing with Trump.
So it was a really effective propaganda effort for boomers, so 60 and above.
Yeah.
People 18 to 59 wanted a lower cost of living. Boomers were the least interested in housing affordability.
Well, they just don't buy houses.
They just wanted to keep their asset prices up, right? And the least reason for voting, respectively, was the federal budget and debt. So they didn't care at all. Protecting public services and making Canada a better place to live. They were the least reported reasons why people voted. So essentially, it's just become this, everyone is in loot mode. Everyone is just trying to preserve their pension, their welfare, and their asset prices. So there's not much of it. And I don't know how long it'll continue.
Doug Casey makes a very good point about how these migrants from the third world, are they really going to want to support some Canadian or English boomer? They have no, the ones they're saying they're going to bring them in. Why do they want to give the they're not their people, or why would they? What's going to happen with that?
I think they're quite clever. The Liberals in Canada are quite clever with that because they have many assigned, like as their guy,
right?
To follow. Yeah, but eventually that's going to turn on them. I don't know though, because I don't know how seriously they take voting. I remember having a conversation with a bunch of people in Calgary, and we got into something like welfare. Is it ethical, and why should I be working, or why should she be working for you just to apply for a new program and get more money? Or there was one fellow who was debating about having another child because it just meant more money. He didn't even care about it.
That happens.
Yeah, so, but they're good people, super cool, but they had no care at all on where the money was coming from, and whether it was ethical or whether it was supportive for the long-term country. They just thought, it's available now, and I'm going to take it, and I don't care about the result. And
it's just self-interest.
Yeah.
In some ways you can't blame them for that.
If it's available, it's like that COVID money.
They're
handing it out.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses are
taking it. Yeah.
It's here. So why not take it?
At my company, they don't think this in Canada, but they called it furlough, where companies could basically put people on paid leave because COVID meant that the business and the economy was going down, and the government would pay their wages. So my company put several people in my company on furlough. And I think some people even got like 1 or 2 days a week furloughed. It was on 80% pay, that was it. But I was working on a project that was on site, and the boss said to me, he was like, "Oh, Ben, you're too valuable, we can't furlough you." And when my colleagues went on furlough, I was like picking up the slack. So I was like pissed off. So they were basically staying at home, getting paid their wages by the government. And I was
80% of what they make normally.
80%. I was getting paid 100%, but I was like,
you were working.
I'll sit at home for 80% pay. I'll take 20% cut than to do nothing. Because I was thinking I could do like investing or do anything. You could make money other ways in that time. And it's just, I remember just thinking, it was really kind of like, it was really busy. It was just like,
there's a Soviet
injustice
saying
of it.
They pretend to pay us, we pretend to work. So it's like that's what everyone did in 2020.
But I mean, no. I mean, although a few of those guys after the furlough stopped, they did like lose their jobs because the work didn't come back, and then it kind of said like, oh well, we don't really need you guys. So it's kind of,
we survived without
in the end it wasn't, but it's still at the time it pissed me off.
What percentage of jobs?
Worthless.
Yeah.
So many.
Like
Everything in the government.
Yeah.
Everyone who works at the central bank. Well, actually, a lot of these government jobs are not only worthless; they're actually like parasitic or counterproductive, and they actually obstruct the private sector.
Yeah.
So they're actually worse than worthless. They're negative.
That's a good way of saying it. Parasitic.
Yeah.
Because their money has to come from productivity.
Yeah, they come from taxation. Well, if you think about it, people who work in, I think my own job as well, like, so I was working in architecture, and we had they're called building control, and they deal with the building regulations, and every year they revise the building regulations. I don't know why. I mean, maybe there's a few updates, but they would always add more information to them, add more new rule. This year we're adding this more. And it kind of occurred to me that, like, why do they do that? Is it really that there's... And they never take any away, that's the thing. Yeah. It's really to justify their existence. They couldn't say, look, the building regulations now, the buildings are more or less safe, which they are in Western countries. There's nothing really need to tweak, or maybe there's like one or two little things. But then maybe the government department would look at them and say, well, why am I hiring all you guys to do this?
Right.
So to justify their existence, they have to keep adding more and more regulations. Something. But then us as architects be really annoying, because you'd think you'd know some of the regulations. They'd be like, oh, things like last year they changed the height of the transom, which is a bit of design, divides the window, and raised it up. It caused problems and things. And it's like, well, why are they making these changes? And it's just, so they're actually making people producing their job more difficult by continually adding more and more, and they're getting paid entirely through the tax money that they're stealing from other people. So it's like you're stealing the money and you're actually causing an obstruction to the... And where does that end? That's what I was thinking when I was working. I was like, I've seen just...
where does it end?
Yeah, I've seen in my career the regulations get stricter and more complicated. And I think, Christ, imagine project forward like 20 years time where I'm still working in architecture, like with this process. Where you can go back, like when they brought them in, it was like way simpler and easier to comply with. It's just, where does it end? But I'm sure that's just something that I have personal experience of, but I'm sure there's many other examples.
But do you think, that's with the government, but do you think there's just the fire hose of credit and money that just hits society? Do you think even if we just look at the private sector, there's jobs that shouldn't exist?
Yeah, you get all these people who are like, there's these new jobs that are great, like social media executive.
Yeah, the SEO.
HR people in corporate. And with diversity hiring, they're just putting people into positions to fill quotas. And here in Paraguay, you see a lot of stores and things where they have far too many staff. I think that's mainly possibly a consequence of the fact that labour is so cheap. Even things like the security on these buildings, like you might say, well, they're kind of nice to have if anything happens, but I lived in flats in Bristol and it had a set of doors that you went through with a card, and then a lobby, and then like another door. So it's to stop people tailgate. I suppose you could hold the door open to two people, but like there are technological ways just using cards and access and things.
Oh yeah.
You don't need all these.
You don't need staff.
Staff in these buildings. And I know.
And they're on their phone anyway.
Yeah. What are they really
we were walking the other day. There's a security guard just down there.
Yeah, most of them wouldn't do anything if something did happen anyway.
Yeah, but what you could do, you could just play dumb and say, excuse me, is there a convenience store around? And they'd say, down there. And you'd say, where? And then you could have your friend just go in behind.
So. Well, there's stories, Philip's saying, there's stories about these people who like dressed up as cleaners and pretended to be cleaners,
Oh, right.
gone into these buildings, and actually, because a lot of them leave the key with the portero,
Yeah.
and they just try it on. They say, "Oh, I'm here to clean flat number 302. Can I have the keys?" And they dress as a cleaner, and the portero is just giving them the keys. And they've gone in with these bags, like rubbish bags, and just empty the stuff.
Oh my God.
That's why I heard the story. I'm like, I don't leave my key with the portero.
No.
I just take it with me. Like,
Yeah, but surely there's many of those jobs everywhere.
mm-hmm.
And I mean, what happens if they go away?
Mm.
Right? Like things would become more productive because you have to earn your keep.
Mm.
But that person is not going to have income
True.
and whatnot.
Well, this is it's like the argument for universal basic income, isn't it? That
Right.
there's just not going to be enough work. So, which I don't like universal basic income. It's quite kind of a hard argument to argue against or anything like that. Like, if all these jobs disappear, those people still need money. So, what do you do?
Yeah, but then
It's not an easy question to answer.
yeah, especially with AI, if they remove white collar jobs, so intelligent people.
AI kid. I was reading this book, Life 3.0, and he's saying how like the thing of AI, the next step, what we're getting close to, is artificial general intelligence. So like rather than AI that's good at just like playing chess or uses like ChatGPT, where it's using sources from the internet, like a general intelligence, like a human intelligence. If you combine that with advanced robotics, right,
Yeah.
you could create like a AI humanoid robot that could basically outcompete every human in every single conceivable task. So if you and with a robot, you could make it actually look
Human.
pretty much, you couldn't tell the difference. And they probably will create these things at some point. And then it's like, if you're running a company, why are you going to hire a real person who's going to, maybe have some problems, maybe be lazy, not do,
Well, I mean, that's
needs to
Walmart.
sleep, and all the rest of it, when you could just buy one of these things, a one-off payment, and just power it up or whatever.
But that's fast food with kiosks now.
Yeah.
Right? It's, I don't know what the return on investment is, but it's
Kiosks. So
yeah. If you go to pay for your burger like that, and you're like, oh, my ticket is this, or scanning your food at Walmart.
Yeah.
Like when I work here now, I gotta scan my own food. So then imagine this robot
Yes.
that is just supreme.
Yeah. Never.
But then those 7-8 people, what do you do with them? What's their role?
I don't know. I mean, myself, I think it depends on your character, but I sort of like. I think there's so many things, like sports and intellectual things and history and knowledge, and that I actually think that it's perfectly possible to live a satisfied life without working, but maybe for a lot of people they need the
distraction and
otherwise they turn into alcoholics and take drugs and
right.
get mental. Because I don't know. I just
just to fill the void. But
like the security guards, what are they going to do? I also see when I see them sitting there on their phone all day and they're just like scrolling and shit. I was like, if I had that job, I think how many books I would read, but also I'd be like, I'd save up and I'd buy like a laptop or something, and then I'd be getting into like there's, because all you got to do is answer the door every so often. You're sat at a desk. You're basically at liberty to kind of pretty much do anything.
Yeah.
So you could like use that time kind of productively on your own.
I know.
And actually, at the very least, I'd be reading. Except I've got this Kindle. When Paraguayans see me with it, they're like, "What's that?" They don't know what it is.
I know.
Because nobody reads.
No. You know what?
What's that thing you got?
I actually looked at the most downloaded app in Paraguay. You can do it with kind of South America too.
Yeah.
that people paid for.
Mm.
They're all games.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. It's not to be more productive, more on time.
You sit there for like on TikTok.
It's
It's
all
like
for
a
fun.
video. It's just like do 2 seconds. You do that for like
I know.
hours.
Hours and hours.
I
and
find it
hours.
hard.
Or it's either games
Mm.
or it's to watch novellas.
Novellas.
Yeah, like soap operas,
Oh yeah, yeah.
like that. Yeah, it's to get access for all the episodes and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how you can
Mm-hmm.
just plug away and just.
Yeah.
I noticed if you get any transit or anything now, you can see that.
People doing that.
Yeah, people will have an attention span of about 8 seconds.
I know, it's incredible. Yeah.
And how it's not interesting. I got a wind of it and on to the next one.
Yeah. It's weird. Like if I.
So that doesn't bode well for this conversation, I guess.
No.
We're gonna hear the first 50 seconds.
Whereas it's like on Sundays, yeah, they just sit around drinking Tereré. You do that 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've got a dysgenic population that's getting if you had a highly intelligent population. But there could also be like me, I like doing like pen and ink drawings and stuff, but it's like it's somewhat demoralizing if you had like some robot that could just do it like way better than you.
And just
like everything.
immediately.
Well, like yeah, like I like do these drawings and stuff, and then someone else could just get their robot and be like, "Oh, I can do better ones than you, man, with my robot." I'm like, "Yeah, but you didn't do it."
Do you think there's an investment opportunity
Well,
there then
yeah.
in robotics or owning these protocols or?
Yeah, probably. If you, I mean, well, yeah, I've never actually thought about that. Like, what's the Boston robot
Boston Dynamics?
Dynamics?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
I thought of designing a platform. It's kind of like passing where the player is going to be.
Mm.
Where people could trade, kind of like an eBay, I guess,
Mm.
or some sort of marketplace where people could trade their robot. So their robot could be something like the robot cleaner that we have now,
Mm-hmm.
or it could be their robot barista, or it could be this one you just spoke of.
Trade them.
Yeah, it could be a kind of, I don't need it, I got this one now.
Oh.
People could buy and sell it, and that the actual companies could list on this as well.
Mm.
So it could be for the companies, or it could be, let's just say you have a robot, or you own
Why can't you
code.
just use Facebook Marketplace or eBay for the same thing?
Yeah, I suppose you could, but then this would just be in that niche, and it would be
Mhm.
kind of the go-to place for
Yeah.
for robotics. The trick is that it hasn't been done yet, and it's not
Mhm.
widespread.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the average person cannot afford $1 million piece
No.
of machinery, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But
they will get cheap.
when that TV came out, they couldn't afford that either.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
but if you had, I'm sure there's some website platforms
Uh-huh.
that just sell
Yeah.
TVs that do quite well,
Mm.
but they would have had to been the early bird.
Well, maybe you're just, people are just going to be hooked up to entertainment,
Mhm.
soma, drugs, I don't know. Just seen that meme with it, like the NPC and he's got like the VR headset on and he's getting something like injected into his arm and like, it's just like, he's totally, it's like, yeah, it's a horrible vision of just people just going to be like sitting on the couch.
I
Yeah,
love
some
the
virtual
meme.
world and yeah.
I love the
completely.
meme of someone asking an NPC character what it says. What are you offended about? And it's someone looking at a phone saying, "They haven't told us yet."
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
The one where this NPC wearing a face mask with the Ukraine flag on,
Yeah.
and it says when you're still caught in the old psyop, but no, when you're into the new psyop, but you can't give up the old psyop.
I know, that's gone mainstream. It's really amazing how fast the news cycle kicks on.
Yeah, yeah. How things just get forgotten.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's down to the attention span and stuff. So.
Yeah.
I'm sure my attention span. I mean, I find YouTube. I try to stop myself watching too many YouTube videos and more like reading books, even if it's audiobooks or Kindle and things. But it's this scrolling and the kind of, it's something like this, a bit of a slot machine, isn't it? Because suddenly you'll find something, it's really interesting, I'll watch that, and then you scroll again, and find something, that's interesting. And you're like, God, I don't know, just read a book. So, and then when I actually do read books, I'm like, actually this is better, because it's kind of slower and I'm paying attention more. And I think with that, like screens and things, it does kind of, you're overstimulated. I don't know what it does to your brain just to be constantly.
Just constantly.
I mean, YouTube is lots like TikTok. I can't, like, I've almost never been on it, but a few times with people, many girls have shown me it and I've sort of looked at it, and it's interesting for a few minutes. But then I've just like, I just stop looking at this because it's just like some
TikTok.
Stupid, is it TikTok?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, it constantly, there's one video, it's like 5 seconds, and then another video, and another video. So I can sit there for an hour just looking at this, like.
Yeah, that's. It can't be good.
No.
I wrote on my site that how TikTok was directly impacting teens in the United States. There was another study in Japan, and very young women. How their attitudes towards certain social things.
It is what's directing their like political opinions, isn't it? What they're being seen, programmed to believe of.
Yeah. What was that number where it was in the millions of women who, I think it was 28 million. I could be wildly wrong on that, but 28 million women would vote the same way Taylor Swift did, just because Taylor Swift were doing it. That was that's all. But it comes back to that leader idea, that people like a leader.
Well, there was that thing, wasn't there, when Kamala Harris got selected and they suddenly pushed all these TikTok videos, and suddenly all these women were just like instantly, just like, Kamala, she's out of nowhere. They were all just like,
I know.
And it's like, wow. Like, this is the thing, they could take literally anyone. They could just take some random person in the street or do the opposite, either pick them up or turn them into a villain. Like within a day, easily.
Yeah, well, you're kind of seeing that now. I mean, the people who are so-called leaders are really disgusting people. There's nothing likable about them at all, really.
No, I mean, God, look at the Labour Party. Christ.
Yeah, I don't know the names, just
the other ones. There's Angela Rayner, who's this.
Right, I've come across her. Yeah.
Very ugly, ginger, dysgenic-looking woman.
Dysgenic.
But she talks like she's got the most. It's like this northern. She just sounds like really thick. She's like, my name's Angela Rayner, and she's just like. Listen to her speak, and you just think, this is just like some. This is not that idiot. How are you in the government? And she's one of the senior people, and it's just like, she's just slow and sounds. Just from hearing her voice and how she talks, you think this person is just like retarded, basically. That's.
Is that a thing where you hear? Say a northern accent or a Scottish accent.
I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say necessarily. Is it just because she's northern, but it's a particular the way of speaking in a northern accent, because it's like you could have a southern accent or and sound stupid, but it's just this kind of like
it's goofy or something.
Yeah, it's like. It's just someone who's just very uneducated.
Right. Yeah, I wondered, because there's a lot of British accents. I mean, I noticed a Welsh accent, which is...
I mean, I don't know, there's that's one of the great things about Britain that they're destroying. So we have so many regional accents.
Yeah.
You can go from Liverpool and Manchester, half an hour away, totally different accent.
Yeah, that's weird. There was a thing I came across. I think it was Manchester, or Scouse too, where they talk kind of out of their nose, because I don't know if this is just a story, but there was a lot of fish there, and the rotting fish, and people didn't want to inhale, so they had a lot of more of a nasally sound, and it was the same sort of thing. Was there coal plants or industrial plants in the north? So there was some sort of accent change.
Oh really?
Because that's how they. Oh, maybe they used to talk very loud, and that kind of gave a lilt to their accent.
Right.
Because there was a lot of machinery and whatnot around. So I don't know if that's just a way to remember the accent for acting, or if there's some truth to it, or not. Speaking of news, though, did you see what happened in Europe?
Yeah, power outages.
Power outage. Yeah. And I don't know if it's on or whatnot. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I think they have studied some of it back,
but it was widespread. It was Spain, Portugal, I think Netherlands, bit of Ireland. I
Really? I didn't know that it was Netherlands and Ireland.
France, bits of France.
Yeah.
It was all really the West.
Yeah.
Morocco had an area too, because I guess they're hooked up to the line.
Really?
Yeah, and Netherlands, Belgium. Yeah, so all of Western Europe, I guess, had a.
I think you're going to see it more and more.
Yeah.
I think it was hearing somewhere that it was some, especially with the grid controllers and the wind and the climate, the grid controllers, the people managing the grid. But I think there's to some extent its point is like incompetence and just the fact that, I was saying before, with these declining IQ, that you're just not got enough capable people in positions to maintain infrastructure, and then the slightest little unusual thing happens, and you just get a catastrophic problem with a complex system, which I think we're going to see more and more of that. It's particularly worrying with things like nuclear power stations. If you think that just DEI hiring in your nuclear power station,
I think
less capable people.
They've became a lot safer, but
the people running them are not as bright as they would be.
Yeah, that's true. I think you're right. I think they're going to be more. It's too advantageous too from the Eurocrats, because that's a perfect crisis that they'll take advantage of. They can, the people in Brussels, they can blame Putin for it.
But one thing they can say is that Spain has achieved net zero. So.
Right. So he wasn't lying. Sanchez, is that
just cut the power.
Right.
Problem solved. Just have all of Europe.
Right.
It's pretty blackout.
I saw Ukraine was saying, "Don't worry, Spain, we'll come to your aid."
Spain? Seriously? It's going to be a joke.
I don't know if it was a joke or not, but so they're going to use that to their advantage, where they're going to get people used to the misery, and I think it's going to be, because they mentioned it months ago.
Theory, isn't it?
About the bail-ins. Have you seen that with the 10 trillion euros they have in savings?
They talk about taking money out of people's bank accounts.
Yeah. Having access to it to allocate it to certain investment. So they could say, "Oh, the grid isn't working very good, but don't worry, don't fret. We have a solution. We just need to allocate a little bit of money." They could say, "Look, we'll go money good for it. Give them a digital currency. Get their real euros, allocate it to themselves, and then perfect excuse to keep the Ukraine going. And then your average person is kind of used to a lower standard of living, where power outages are a thing."
Yeah. Well, going back to South Africa, it's that's the country where they euphemistically call it load shedding, where they have power
It's called load shedding?
Yeah, did you know that?
No.
So South Africa used to have pretty much one of the best power grids and networks. It was like a world leader.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, people used to go there for like conferences. It was all, they had incredibly well run and efficient networks. And then after the end of the apartheid, they brought in all these like racial quotas. A lot of the intelligent people just left and fled the country.
Yeah.
And for like 30 years, these power stations and the grids haven't been properly maintained. It's a funny thing where they blame the apartheid government. They say, saying like they designed it to go wrong.
Oh.
And that's some people actually said the fact that it even works at all after 30 years of bad maintenance is testament to how well it was built.
Right.
It's their fault.
Yeah.
So they haven't upgraded it. But because it can't produce the base load, and they can't produce enough power to power all the cities, so they do like they call it load shedding, but it's just basically they have unplanned power cuts. They have planned power cuts at certain times for certain areas, so they switch off that neighbourhood and then switch on that one. So throughout the day, you'll have a period of like 5 hours where your house will have no power.
Yeah, I was
but they
reading,
say we're shedding the load, but it's just they just can't produce enough electricity.
What's that stock? Siboney. It's a mining stock. They produce platinum.
Oh yeah.
Platinum, silver, gold.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
They reference that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Load shed. Yeah, of course, for industry, it's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
Because they're in a factory or something. But this is why a lot of them have their own generators. And that Orania produces its own power and things like that. Which, I think you will get people. If South Africa is what I was saying, like South Africanization, if that's the future, there will be people who come together and force into communities and basically have to say, okay, we're producing our own power, our own refuse collection, our own, just basically within your own community. You just have to take care of those things yourself, because you can't rely on the state at all.
Right. That's going to be difficult to find. I think the most difficult thing is getting people on the same page that, yes, I have to. I was speaking to Chris about this, that it's difficult to convince people that you might have to restart. And you might have to, because, people, there's...
Life has to get kind of worse. It's interesting with that thing with the power cut in Spain. It's the first time I have heard of that happening in a first world country in my lifetime. But that sort of thing will become more common, and it will just be like, at the moment, life's always been quite easy and pleasant in a first world country, but as it gets harder and those things become more common, then the actual equation changes in your mind. Well, actually, is going off and joining a community and trying to do some of this stuff ourselves, actually that eventually becomes the easier option.
I think it's the easier option now, because clearly the West is in a full-fledged civilizational descent.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people who, they still have their job, they still have their mortgage, maybe they live in a sort of okay place. It hasn't had the diversity move in. It's kind of, you can still kid yourself.
Yeah.
These are things I always want to say. Though, I'm going to see some friends when I go back to the UK, do a bit of cycling. My friends are just having kids and things, and I just want to ask them. This is one question. Like what do you see life here in England being like in 10 or 20 years when you're? And I was saying to my brothers as well, like, because I've got nephews and nieces, but that's why I personally can't stay there, because I can't help but think it's bad now. look at where it's going.
Exactly.
Where's it going to be in another 10 years, another 20 years? And maybe it's tolerable at the moment, but unless something drastically changes, which there's no real signs. It could, things, I mean, if things did like suddenly turn around and improved, I see that as highly, highly unlikely, if not almost impossible. But if something like that did happen, I'd move back. But at the moment, there's no signs that
Yeah,
could.
there's no sign of it. So.
Yeah.
But maybe people are just on the hamster wheel where they don't think, they're just trying to survive, they're not trying to thrive.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to thrive, you have to have some sort of long-term plan.
Yeah.
Like, by year, whatever,
Mm.
we're going to have this, or we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, people haven't given that much thought, but again, comes back to the TikTok thing. If you're accustomed to 8 seconds, you're not going to be considering, yeah, so it's working.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
8
yeah,
years.
there's things that like football and there's all this like distraction to keep your mind. And some people, I have tried to broach these topics with people, and well, I mean, and my dad, for example, almost gets angry at me for talking about it, and it's that kind of reaction of like why, or some people, they don't have an answer, they just don't want to talk about it. They become very uncomfortable when you bring up these topics, and they don't. I don't know. This is why I'm going to say to my friends, so he's doing a cycle trip. I just phrase it like that, like where do you see the country in 10 or 20 years? And don't give them any prompts, and then whatever they say, just try and do that Socratic thing and say like, I don't know what they'll say, but I'll just say like, are you not worried about like the economy or like the debt or?
Just see if they've thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll probably say, I think that the technology will have improved, and then we'll. I don't know. And I don't actually know what they'll say, but
Yeah, it's an interesting question.
It'll be interesting to see.
I was in Mexico for the Mexican Independence Day, and we were out for tacos afterwards, and I asked everyone, how long will Mexico stay together? And I believe one person said always, but everyone else said no, like they gave a year, like 4 years, 12 years.
States.
Yeah, that it was going to actually fragment.
Right.
Right, that the North would separate from the South or something.
Yeah.
And we came from a little celebration, and there was no inclination that that was coming. Everyone was very excited and playing music and celebrating and whatnot. But that was kind of shocking to hear from me. So maybe you'd hear a similar, like maybe they'd say, well, there won't be an England. But I'm okay with that maybe. I don't know what their answer would be after
it'll be
10
interesting
years.
to see. I never went to say 10 or 20 years. It's 20 years. Maybe 10 years.
10 is better.
Yeah, it's not nearer, so easier to.
But it's tough. It's like an eyesight thing. Like you don't realize, or gaining weight, you don't realize your actual weight because you look at yourself in the mirror every day. Your reference point is very, very tiny. So it's difficult to know the issues.
Or I suppose a follow-up question I could say to them was like, do you think, in general, do you think the country's better now or when we were kids? That would be interesting to see what the answer to that would be.
Right.
Like in general. Because I bet they never think about these things. That it would be, or maybe they'll just avoid the question. Say like, oh,
maybe.
Like a
I know, yeah.
Or it's just about the same.
Yeah. You see the game last night?
A few things are good, a few things are worse.
Yeah.
We'll probably get that.
Still complain about the weather though.
But yeah.
Yeah.